How to stop anxiety ruling your life. Introduction. There are more than 40 million anxiety sufferers in the United States alone. A lot of people that suffer from anxiety believe that it can never be fixed, but this is not true. There is no miracle cure for anxiety, and if you are expecting to see one in this report, then you are going to be disappointed. Anxiety is all in the mind. The way that you think causes your anxiety and can put an end to it as well. It is not going to be an easy path and will require persistence and determination. So, we recommend that you start by following these 7 proven ways to cope with your anxiety. You will then be well on your way to changing your life for the better. 1. Pay special attention to your breathing. Paying close attention to your breathing is something that you should do throughout the day and not just when you are feeling anxious about something. When you breathe correctly, it sends the right amount of oxygen to your brain, and this will alleviate the feelings of stress and worry. The reverse is also true. If your brain is not properly oxygenated, then you are going to feel a lot worse when you are anxious or stressed. Some people have a tendency to hold on to their breaths, and if you do this, then you need to stop because it creates muscle tension. This is also the case if you tend to breathe shallowly. There's a great technique that we recommend that you use with your breathing. It is called the 4-6-8 breathing method, and it is easy to do and form as a habit so that you use the technique all of the time. The first step is to breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. With each breath, hold it in your lungs for a count of 6. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. When you exhale in this way, you can actually feel the stress and tension leaving your body and relaxing you. Try this right now. Just doing this once will make a big difference to you. Go for a round of 4-6-8 and you will feel a lot better. If something makes you stressed or anxious, then use the 4-6-8 technique immediately. Do you get anxious when you are waiting for the traffic lights to change? Then use the 4-6-8 breathing technique to relax yourself. What about if you were placed on hold during a frustrating phone call? Use the 4-6-8 method again. There is an alternative breathing method that you can try called the 4-7-8 technique. This is another great way to overcome anxiety. The 4-7-8 technique has 5 steps which begin with you moving the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth so that it is right behind your 2 front teeth. Now breathe through your nose for 4 seconds. Next, hold your breath for 7 seconds. Then breathe out through your mouth for 8 seconds. It will probably help you to place your lips into a blowing position and then make a whoosh sound as you exhale. The 4-7-8 breathing technique is a great way to relieve stress and tension, and it also has other benefits too, such as helping you to sleep better and reducing blood pressure. Both of these breathing methods work, so practice them and stick with the one that works the best for you. 2. Kick in your relaxation response. You may not be aware of this, but you have an innate relaxation response, which is a very powerful defense against anxiety and stress. Dr. Herbert Benson, a researcher that was a legend at Harvard, first characterized this. When you have mastered the art of inducing your natural relaxation response, you will slow down your heart rate, decrease muscle tension in your body, and lower your blood pressure. This will result in your stress hormone levels reducing. Inducing your natural relaxation response is a great thing to do every morning and whenever you need it. When you induce your natural relaxation response, it will help to calm any anxiety that you have and reduce the overall tension in your body. So here's what you need to do for around 10 minutes each morning. Find some sounds that tend to put you in a relaxed state. You can find these online in MP3 format. Add them to your phone or MP3 player, and then play them through headphones or earphones and breathe deeply as you listen. While you are doing this, think about the things in your life that you are grateful for. The fact that you have life, your family and friends. You have food and water available and a roof over your head. Expressing gratitude is a great way to induce your relaxation response. It will not take you long to stimulate your relaxation response, so you can use it anytime during the day. If relaxing sounds or music does it for you, then make sure that you have these on your phone so that you can indulge whenever you need to. You can think about things to be grateful for at any time. It is not really difficult at all to do this. Just think about what you have in your life right now. It doesn't matter that you don't have the highest paying job or the fanciest new car. Focus on the fact that you have money to live on and a car to get you around. 3. Put off your anxiety. You might think this is strange, but it actually works. A lot of anxious people will obsess over the same problem over and over again. What you are going to do here is to designate a specific time when you will concentrate on this issue. Is this easy to do? Well, it is not that difficult, but you will have to put in some effort into it and be persistent with the technique. We all have things that we could worry about all day long, and some anxiety sufferers actually do that. They start off a negative spiral in their minds when they start to think about the problem. What if I can't solve this problem? What if things get worse for me? These are common negative thoughts that can occur in your mind if you are focusing on a problem all of the time. But you know that this is going to make your anxiety worse and affect your body as well as you increase the tension. Before you know it, you have a vicious cycle to deal with. So, break the negative cycle pattern by coming up with a set time of day when you will think about the issue and write down what your concerns are. During this time, you can let it all out. Write down the way that the issue makes you feel. There is great power in writing things down. This is a great method for releasing yourself from the burden of thinking about a problem all day long. If you feel yourself doing this, then just tell yourself that you will deal with it at 8 p.m. or whatever time you have designated. Try it. You will find that this will work very well for you with a little practice. It is essential that you do everything possible to break negative cycles in your mind that make your anxiety worse. Never believe that you cannot stop these cycles, because you can. Start off by postponing your worrying about specific issues. 4. Write down your fears and concerns. We mentioned in the last section that there is a great deal of power associated with writing things down. There have been numerous studies about this, and they have all concluded that there are significant benefits to putting pen to paper. What we are talking about here is expressive writing. This is where you will write down the emotions that you are feeling about a specific situation. You will need to make an effort here to record everything that you feel about the situation. This will provide you with much needed clarity to tackle the problem. Writing things down is a great discipline that you want to develop. We highly recommend that you start a journal to record everything each day. Set aside a specific time at the end of the day to record your feelings about things that make you anxious. Research has shown that keeping a journal and making daily entries can help with depression, mild to moderate cases, and can even help with the symptoms of chronic pain issues. One thing that you must bear in mind is that recording everything in your journal is not an instant fix. It will make you feel a little better when you do it, though. If you are not sleeping too well, then making a journal entry before you go to bed can really help you to relax and fall asleep. There is something about recording all your worries in a journal that takes the burden away from you at that moment. You don't need to think about the issue anymore because it is all down in writing. Another great reason for starting a journal and making daily entries is that you can reflect back over it in the future. It's a great way to see how far you have come with your fight against anxiety. We recommend that you get a paper-based journal and use a pen. Yes, there are ways that you can do this on a computer, but the actual act of writing things down in the conventional way is just more powerful. 5. Identify your fears and break them down. Most anxiety sufferers tend to think very negatively and believe that a number of things will not turn out well for them. You may have heard the term catastrophic thinking before, and this is where you see many things turning out in a disastrous way for you. If you are a victim of catastrophic thinking, then you will have a difficult time relaxing. It can make your confidence and self-esteem take a severe nosedive. So what can you do about this? Well, we recommend that you identify your fears and break them down so that you can tackle them. When you identify your fears and really start to understand them, you will move swiftly towards the antidote for each fear. Most, if not all, of your fears will be irrational, and once you see the odds of these things happening to you are extremely low, it will help you to put things in perspective. A lot of anxiety sufferers have a distorted perception about things that they are afraid of. It is vital that you make the shift to more rational thinking, where you acknowledge that something bad could happen, but other things could happen as well. So the challenge here for you is to make a realistic assessment about the likelihood of each of the bad things you are fearful of actually happening. It is also a good idea to make an assessment of how you will handle the bad situation if it was to occur. Some anxiety sufferers have a tendency to overestimate things. So, you can ask yourself the question, how likely is it that this will never change or be resolved? This question can help you come to the conclusion that most problems tend to sort themselves out or be resolved with the passing of time. Another great question to ask yourself is, if this bad thing happens, what are the chances that it will affect everything in your life? This can bring a true sense of reality. Yes, the problem could affect certain areas of your life, but it is not going to affect all of them. It is not the disaster that you first believed. Are there other factors that may have contributed to the fear? Fear is not always your enemy. Many things that we do in life involve some form of risk-taking. It is essential that you do not over-exaggerate the amount of risk involved. A good example of this is public speaking. Even people that are not anxiety sufferers are stressed out about this. They think that they are going to make a fool of themselves in front of an audience. But what if there was another outcome to the event? What if you gave a public speech and people really liked what you had to say? This is always possible. You need to make a shift to thinking about positive outcomes with those things that you are fearful of. Also accept that if there is a negative outcome, that it is not the end of the world. 6. Identify negative self-talk. We all have a critical inner voice. When we worry about something, our inner voice will surface immediately to turn up the heat. This is a very negative and destructive process which most people can handle effectively, but anxiety sufferers have a problem dealing with. If you listen to all of your negative self-talk and believe it, then you are going to be anxious. Here's a revelation. Your inner voice is rarely right. When it tells you that you are useless and you cannot do something, then this is hardly ever true. Human beings have two inner voices. One is the higher self that pushes on to great things, and the other is the lower self, which is always quick to tell us that we cannot or should not do something. Your lower self or inner critic is something that you need to learn to distrust. Think of it as a distorted coach that will always try to put you down and provide you with the very worst advice. When you are anxious, you can always bank on your lower self being around. You need to practice ignoring it and bringing your higher self to the surface. It is certainly possible to ignore or silence your negative self-talk. You are never going to get rid of it entirely because it is there to protect you. If you are standing at the edge of a cliff, it will tell you not to jump. But it will also create a number of irrational fears within you if you give it too much control. Here's a simple way that you can start to ignore your inner critic. If you want to do something and your inner critic tells you you will never be able to do that, neutralize this by thinking, I can achieve anything that I put my mind to. By using this neutralizing technique over and over, you will learn to ignore your negative self-talk and keep your lower self under the surface. This is not difficult to do, and after a short time, you will start to think differently and be less anxious. 7. Change your posture. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror when you are anxious or feeling really stressed? If you have looked at yourself in the mirror, what did you notice about your posture? Was your head down? Were your shoulders slumped? Did your face look miserable? If you were nervous about entering a room full of people that you didn't know, what kind of entrance would you make? Would you throw your shoulders back, hold your head high, and smile at everyone in the room? Or would you walk in with your head down, your shoulders slumped, and an expression on your face to tell others, please don't approach me? Your posture is very important when it comes to anxiety. If you are standing up straight with your shoulders back and your head held high, it is impossible to feel depressed. Add a smile to your face, then you will create instant joy. The mere act of smiling can trick your body into believing that you are no longer anxious and feeling happy. Too many people believe that happiness is the reason for a smile, but it is actually true that a smile can cause happiness. Now consider taking this a step further. Do you participate in regular exercise? If you don't, then we highly recommend that you start right now. Exercise is an excellent way to regulate your anxiety and improve your mood. Yoga is a great form of exercise to help with anxiety. There are some yoga exercises specifically designed to combat anxiety, and you can find videos and other resources about this online. Conclusion. As an anxiety sufferer, you have probably heard a number of experts tell you that it is all in your mind. They are not telling this to irritate you. It is really true. This is really good news because you can change the way that you think to get rid of your anxiety. Start by using the simple but powerful techniques in this video.